Hey guys.
Wait 1 second.
Oh, oh my God. Guys, I'm gonna start crying. He's such a beautiful dancer, isn't he? Let's let's give a round of applause for Yoav. Let's all praise him, guys, because that was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
We regret to announce.
Oh God, welcome back to One on Ratio podcast with your two wonderfully serious hosts, Melina and
Yoav.
we're
And
back.
we're back after a week break, as usual.
Episode 21, bitches. 21.
We are 6 episodes close to dying.
What?
Not funny.
27 club?
Not funny.
Not funny.
Not funny. My
Not funny.
bad. What a way to start an episode. Today, if you couldn't tell, now that I think about it, if you haven't seen this week's movie, that introduction probably was very strange.
Yeah, probably.
Um, we're talking
uh,
about the Archers movie as Meli sips her smoothie, the Red Shoes.
yep.
So stick around for that segment, but first we have to get to the important stuff, which is our movie news and of course what we watched.
Yep. Um,
What happened this week in terms of movies, Melly?
okay, there is so much news happening going on. I'm just gonna go in order of what I wrote. First off, Yorgos Lanthimos, our favorite director, is still working on a script for My Year of Rest and Relaxation with author Otessa Moshfegh. Moshfegh, I think.
Hmm.
Um, it was announced like 2 years ago that he was like working on this script, and I
Right,
guess
right, I
he,
remember.
yeah, and I guess he's still working on it. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see how Yorgos is going to adapt this book. We'll see.
Well, his adaptation this year of a famous novel, Poor
Yeah,
Things, worked out pretty well for him.
very
And
well.
he's known for very dense movies. His movies are always very, very dense. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll give him time, especially because from what I understand, and you can say yes or no on this, Poor Things gave us a lot to chew on
Yes,
before his next
definitely.
project. So a lot to chew on.
Definitely.
Um, haven't seen it yet. Looking forward to it.
Yay! It's a fun ride.
I just saw our friend Isabel watched it and she was like, so much sex in this movie, so many boobies.
Yeah. I
I
also saw
commented,
that.
Isabel, are you all right?
She's not all right.
Um, Speaking of boobies, Jacob Elordi has been cast in Guillermo del Toro's upcoming Frankenstein film. Jacob Elordi will be playing Frankenstein's monster, replacing Andrew Garfield, who has dropped out on the film due to scheduling conflicts.
Here's my question, and I'm gonna say this right now.
Mhm.
Whatever Andrew Garfield dropped out for better be damn good because that man, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, as much as all you hoes love Andrew Garfield, he is not in a lot of good movies.
No.
He's not. So I really hope he made a good choice by dropping out of this movie because
Um, you know, Jacob Elordi is pretty cool. I like Jacob Elordi. Um, so might be interesting to see him in a Del Toro movie. I'm not gonna say this in what I watched this week, but I did start Saltburn. Um,
well,
Jacob,
Jacob wasn't bad
okay,
in
Jacob.
Saltburn. I'll give him that.
No, um,
The performances weren't bad. I just think I don't know.
I've recently been seeing some stuff on Instagram of like my reaction to watching Saltburn, and then every single video it's the same thing. It's like this girl going like, "Oh, is he licking it? That's
Yeah.
fresh dirt. Ew." Okay, wow, you shocked us, Emerald. We've been shocked.
That
You,
wasn't even like
you,
those parts weren't even the worst part of the movie, by the way. Like those parts were like funny. I'm sorry. Everything else about the
right.
movie was just awful. Those scenes just added some comedic relief, in my opinion.
You shocked us? Now, okay, you shocked us. Wow. We're all so shocked. That's literally all you can say about. I'm so I haven't even finished the movie, and I will one day. Um, but
Yeah. No bueno.
no, but no. I'm just like I did. Sorry, I just wasn't in the mood, and I hope that it doesn't get any Oscar nominations, especially not for cinematography, because yeah, the cinematography looks good, but it's participating in this recent trend of like um cinematography that looks good but is actually not meaningful or
Yeah.
very, very on the nose. Like all these movies, like I would even say Maestro recently. Wow, such a pretty, like it's a 3:4 aspect ratio. It's so pretty and artsy. But then the only thing the cinematography is doing is looking good and like showing this character is bigger on the screen and this character is smaller. So that's really smart cinematography. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're
Is
saying.
it? Not really. And Saltburn was, yeah, it was very symmetrical, but was it meaningful?
Mm, not really.
Hmm. What's your next note?
My next note is, guys, we have been getting award season is feeding us, okay?
Mhm.
Critics' Choice Awards came out. Um, SAG Awards, Golden Globes. Obviously, Golden Globes are like pretty insignificant compared to SAG and Critics' Choice.
Mhm.
Um, Critics' Choice, Barbie, 18 nominations. That is the most nominated movie ever for the Critics' Choice.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, previously it was held at 14 nominations. Now Barbie has taken over with 18. Um,
What movie had 14?
Everything Everywhere All at Once. I will
Okay.
say, Paul. So this is at the Critics' Choice, but Paul Giamatti won Best Actor. Emma Stone won Best Actress, which kind of changes things up for the Oscar race, guys.
I kind
Um,
of love that.
well,
I
me
mean,
too. I mean, I really am. I'm rooting for Lily Gladstone. I really am.
and Killian as well.
Yeah, because right now the race is truly
Then
between
no, no,
Killian and
no,
Paul.
nothing's. I don't think Killian's gonna be topped, is he?
I mean, we'll see because Paul winning at the Critics' Choice and then SAG Awards, I think wait, did they win? Or was it SAG? I don't know. Either way, either way. No, SAG nominations came
SAG
out.
8, Oppenheimer out.
Yeah. There's so much going
SAG
on,
did not eat
guys.
Oppenheimer out. They ate
Oh,
Oppenheimer up. Just needed to clarify that. That
yeah.
was kind of
Well,
embarrassing.
I don't know. I was just like keeping up with the nominations, the
Mhm.
awards yesterday, and I mean, Oppenheimer is really killing it. Like Robert Downey Jr. has been really racking in those awards. I still am rooting for Charles Melton. Um, Hopefully he can sneak his way in there. If not, I'm rooting for Mark Ruffalo or Willem Dafoe. Poor
Let's at
thing.
least get a nom for Melton and of course the Poor Things boys
Let's
for sure.
hope. I really hope we can pull a nomination for him. But we'll see, man. I don't
Will
know.
Robert Downey be winning? Will he be winning the Oscar? I hope
I don't
not,
know.
to be honest.
I really hope he doesn't
Um,
win either. I'm sorry. I
I mean
don't.
he was good. He was good and he reminded the world that he can in fact act, but is he award winning? Was that an award winning performance? Not really.
Not really. But and to correct what I said earlier, not SAG. We haven't gotten SAG awards yet. Only nominations. I tweeted a lot about that because I was very angry because A lot of snubs. I get it. They have to limit it to like 5 or 6 actors, but you know, Naiad and all that shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. You could have had space for other better performances that mattered, but sure, let's
Mhm.
throw in Annette Bening. Why not? Anyways,
Um,
that's it. Yoav, your turn.
Speaking of the Poor Things boys, Willem Dafoe has got a Hollywood star this week. Yay.
Yay! It
Um,
was cute.
yeah, very cute. He also did this week. He's been on like some publicity stuff. He was on the Criterion. He was in the Criterion closet earlier this week.
Oh yeah.
Um,
He is, I'm
Very
sorry,
funny.
but all those people going in the Criterion closet, no, they're trying to rack in those nominations so bad.
Right.
They are working overtime to get nominated. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Um, Willem had a moment in the Criterion closet where he like pulled out Last Temptation of Christ and he's like, "Who is this boy? You know him, ladies?" That's one of those things that are gonna be memed in the future,
Yeah.
similar to the one that what's his name did, where he was like, "I'm such a lucky boy. Thank you so much for having me." The guy from Shape of Water.
Michael Shannon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Similar
yeah,
to that moment,
yeah.
that people are probably gonna clip that, and I've seen that video in like places that isn't even connected to film, so it's like, oh, that's from the Criterion Closet. Like,
Mm-hmm. Love it.
think that will be there too. Yeah.
Next piece of news. So this is for Zev Rodnitsky if he wants to watch this or not. But there's a new Fear Street movie in the works. We had the first 3, and then they said that there was going to be another set, another like trilogy set coming out, and we finally have one in production, I guess. So we'll probably get more news on that in the future. But I thought the Fear Street movies were a lot of fun. Were they perfect by any means? No, but were they a fun little summer horror movie experience? Yeah, and it was nice. So
Yeah. I recently spoke to Zev. He's not been watching the podcast in
yeah.
case you're wondering. We actually thought of having him on as a guest, but I guess that will never happen, will it?
No, it won't because you to be a guest, to be a featured guest, you have to like watch like at least like
Right,
2
right,
episodes. And
right. And he's seen nothing.
he's seen none
So,
of it. So
well, that was just like a sneak peek because we might have guests on this pod in the future.
mm-hmm.
Might be we might have some A-listers.
Yeah, maybe. Guys, I've been look, you can't tell anybody this, but I've been on the phone with one of our top Oscar contender nominees, and he's willing to talk about his 6 hard years of work and effort that he put into his
Bradley Cooper.
movie. He
Well,
once dubbed
I've been actually speaking to Hollywood film legend Charlie Chaplin. Yep,
no way.
yep. He'll be on.
Wow, guys. Look at us.
But he won't say anything because he's silent.
Oh, that's a
Also, one,
shame.
because he's dead, two, because he's a silent film star.
No, no, no. He will rise
Three,
from the grave.
guys, we're kidding. Obviously, we don't support Charlie Chaplin or his playing around with underage girls. Paul Thomas Anderson's next film will star Leonardo DiCaprio, Regina Hall, and Sean Penn. The film supposedly takes place in a contemporary setting and will begin shooting later this month.
Hell yeah.
Love you, Paul. Really excited for your next film.
Woo. I'm excited for Regina Hall in a Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Yeah. Oh my God, wait, I skipped one of your notes, didn't I? You go give me a double whammy.
No,
Double
I only have
whammy.
one. I only have one left.
Oh, okay, then go.
All right, guys, this is it. Martin Scorsese plans to direct his new Jesus movie later this year. This movie will have a runtime of 80 minutes. 80 minutes, shortest movie of his ever.
Ah,
Yeah, and will focus
ah.
on Jesus.
Well, the big shave.
Well, okay, the
I'm
big shave is
kidding.
that's
I'm
different.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
This will focus on Jesus's core teachings in a way that explores the principles but doesn't, oh God, Proselytize.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So
Don't know
I'm
what that
I'm
means.
curious what's gonna happen. I don't know.
I'm
He already did
curious
a
what that
Jesus
word
movie.
means.
That yeah. He already did a Jesus movie, so I'm curious
Right.
about that. But I'm excited, and people were saying that maybe Andrew Garfield dropped out because of this movie. Hmm? Hmm? We'll see.
He was in Marty Scorsese's other Christian movie, The Silence, so
Yes.
maybe some kind of correlation. Speaking of big directors, Wes Anderson's next film is going to be a dark espionage thriller starring Michael Cera,
Yeah, hell yeah.
Benicio del Toro, and Bill Murray. And let me just say, I don't care about Benicio or Bill. Michael
Yeah.
Cera hasn't been in Wes's films before, so this is wow. Um, and I really liked his work when he played around with the thriller genre when he was doing those short films, specifically his film Poison. I think he could really do something with it. I really
Hmm.
think he could and break out of the kind of comedy drama and actually go into a different genre and apply his style and his Andersonisms to something else. I think it could be amazing. Don't
I
you?
agree. I totally agree. I think he has the chops to do it, so I'm excited to see how he's gonna execute it.
Yes. But Melly,
Yeah.
what did you view this week?
Guys, you should be so proud of me. I've been watching one thing and one thing only, and it is Twin Peaks, guys. Guys, I have literally Yippee!
Wait, let me time my laugh better. Ha 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 ha.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Go
Anyways,
ahead.
moving on from that. Moving on from that. I've only been watching Twin Peaks. I haven't watched anything else because I've just been like really zoned in on this. So good, so great, so fantastic. I've talked about it with Yoav a lot. But I'm on season 1, episode 8 right now, and I'm gonna continue to watch through season 2 and Fire Walk with Me and everything. So you'll be hearing about this probably for the next few weeks. So
Yes.
keep
I'm
that
very proud of
open.
her. Very
Yeah,
proud of
I've
Melly for this.
after I finished Normal People, and
Oh, how
then
was it?
it was it was okay.
Because some people are like, wow, best show of all time.
No, not best show of all time. No. It's sad. It's like depressed people like having sex and then being mad at each other and then having sex and then being mad at each other. And not communicating and whatever, and it's blah.
Mm.
But I finished that, and then after our episode, I was like, you know what? It's time for me to start. So I started. And now we're going through the journey. I'm so
And
happy.
you rated the pilot episode of 5 out of 5
Yeah, the
on
pilot
Letterboxd.
episode is like I rated it a 5, but it's more of like a rating for the whole season, even though, well,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like it's like a rating for
Yeah.
all
I've
of
seen some
it.
people that log that pilot every time they watch an episode and are just like season one. But it's annoying.
Okay. I don't like doing that
Um,
personally,
I don't either.
but yeah, that's
I'm
it.
looking
That's
forward to your
literally it.
updates on that show. I watch a bunch of stuff, but I'll go fast.
Go
I watched
ahead.
the second movie in Mohsin Makmalbaf's The Poetic Trilogy. I've spoken about that earlier. It was called The Silence. Pretty interesting movie. This movie has really cool cinematography and sound design, and it was very poetic. Um, I watched with my dad. Pretty fun. Really explores the religion of Sufism. And hones in on the writings of Rumi. If you've heard of Rumi, he's a very famous guy. Then I watched Baby Driver in cinemas. Woo! It was bust. It was really good. I had so much fun. I had so much fun. Sometimes I just had such a week of like poetic stuff. Like I watched Yee Yee, Koya Naskatsi, like The Silence and shit. And then I was like, wow, this is such a perfect movie to give me a nice cleansing before I go into another week of like art house depression. And Baby Driver was exactly what I needed.
Yeah, Baby
I
Driver is a
watched
lot of
the
fun. Sorry.
yeah. No, The director of EO, Jerry Skozamas, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, made a film called Moonlighting from 1982. Literally nothing told me to watch this. It was just I was like literally just randomly pressing shit on Letterboxd, and I was like, "Oh, that seems interesting. I like Jeremy Irons," and then I just put it on.
Nice.
It was really interesting. A lot of it was in Polish, and I had it without English subtitles. So, and I still watched the whole thing. I was telling Zeb about it, and he was like, "You're so stupid. Like, that's such a weird thing to do." And I guess he's right. I don't know how I even lasted, but it's well, that's just a testament to the movie. And it was
Real.
pretty good. Then I finished Beef. Steven Yeun, Ali Wong.
Beef.
Wow,
Yeah.
what a show! What a show! Everything has already been said, so I won't say anything, but. I mean, I'll just say that it's a very fun time. This feeling of being stuck within your life, obviously as a middle-aged person, and of their generation, it's one thing, but everyone can resonate with this feeling of being stuck one way or another, or feeling outside of yourself, and anger issues and all that stuff. I think this show says a lot. It's very dense. I think the two central performances are moi. Um, and yeah, I watched it with my mom, and it was so much fun through the whole season.
Emmys are tonight, so they'll probably be winning their Emmys.
Yeah, and they won Golden Globe for Best Actress, Actor for Comedy Actor, right?
Yep. And the
Deserved,
show also
deserved.
won.
Yeah, deserved.
Hmm. I agree.
Um, but yeah, that's what I watched this week. I'm just
Woo!
excited to get into our feature presentation because this is a
Sick.
hefty one.
Woo! Okay, guys. I guess we'll see you in part two, huh?
Alrighty.
Yoav, do you want to do a transition this time?
Oh my God, this is so there's so much pressure is on me.
I did a transition the
Okay,
last two times, so now it's your turn.
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drop this white ribbon, and while it's in the air, it's gonna be back. You know what I mean? Like the transition will start when I drop it, and then it'll finish when it gets ready.
Okay, okay, that's gonna be
Three,
interesting.
2, 1.
The transition could not be executed, unfortunately. So I'm gonna save you the trouble of watching a horribly edited transition, and I'm just gonna skip right over to the main part. Thanks.
Word!
Oh.
Guys, we're back. Yoav did the transition and it flowed so well.
Yes. Yeah, it probably didn't, but
We'll see
um
soon.
guys, we're talking about one of my favorite movies, OAT,
Wow.
which happens a lot on this podcast. So, um, The Red Shoes is from 1948 and it's directed by The Archers.
Wait,
1948 and directed by Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger, otherwise known as The Archers. This is a big movie in terms of classic cinema. Do you agree?
oh, 100% I agree. Yeah.
Um, so this movie unravels itself every time to me in a new way. I noticed a lot of things this watch that I haven't in the past. But
Mm.
I'm really just here to hear Meli's thoughts. So I want to know.
Okay, should I start then? Should I start with my
You
first
can
note?
start impressions of the movie or just first note.
Okay, first of all, I do want to say that when I first went into this movie, I like it was not what I expected it to be.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be much different. Like keep in mind I have never read like a single description of this movie, so maybe that's why.
Mhm.
But like I just I just did not think anything of it, like of what it was going to be about.
Yeah.
So that was already like a kind of a shock to me when everything was happening. I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Cause I thought it was gonna be more like a Black Swan-y type, where she was kind of like going into this obsession of ballet, but it wasn't quite that.
Hmm.
So that was already, I was like, whoa, okay. So I just want to put that out there. But that wasn't
Yeah.
a bad thing. Like I still enjoyed the
Right,
movie.
right.
I just was expecting it to be, I guess, different. And I wasn't expecting the whole aspect of music.
Right.
I was not expecting that at all. I did not realize that there was that whole part of the movie where we had like
Yeah.
ballet and the music. So I thought that was really interesting.
What was the first thing you wrote down?
The first thing I wrote down is the opening credit art is
First
just,
time Meli mentions it, and not me.
yeah, was just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I think the words to describe this movie are fabulous, dazzling, like
uh
glorious. Like those were like
mhm.
just so beautiful.
Yeah.
You can tell that I think you can tell from this movie that this was definitely like people's first introduction to real color in cinema.
Yeah.
And you can tell, but like that opening credit scene, man, I was like, wow, wow,
Especially
wow.
English movie goers. Well, that's actually my first note as well. Oh God, the title sequence. Oh God, I'm having an orgasm.
Yeah.
Something about
Yup.
the something about these title cards just get me in the mood to watch this amazing classic. Like every time, the paintings are so pretty and so colorful, and the overture music is so like insane. It makes me feel like I'm sitting down to watch like a really good musical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seeing all the orchestras, um, like listed that went into creating this movie. So many philharmonics, so many composers, so many. Oh my God, it's a headache. Musicians, dancers, filmmakers.
Yeah.
It's like the collaboration of all these arts, and just this title sequence just really gets you pumped for to watch this kind of thing. So that's what
I
I wrote
think
first as well.
what's really interesting about this movie is that you wouldn't expect something like this to be made in the 40s.
Right. Right.
Like, because this movie has such a deep appreciation for not only filmmaking, but for dancing and ballet history and music
Hmm.
and orchestra what do they call, like orchestral music? Like
Orchestral.
orchestra, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that not only just the directors, but everyone has a passion for these things. And
I
it's
would
from the
even say,
1940s. Like,
yeah.
that's
This is like the
crazy.
definition of ahead of its time. I would
Yeah.
say, like opera, orchestra, dance aside, I would even say that this is heavily influenced by the art of theater and play
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
musicals even. A lot of the dialogue, we're talking backstage, between the characters is very, very like a kind of like a play, like spunky, very fast, very
Hmm.
theatrical, very melodramatic. So there's that. It's like such a combination. And then obviously the paintings it
Yeah.
just looked like something straight out of a museum. It's like every single art condensed into something, you know?
Yeah. And that's just
Um,
like one reason why this movie is so awesome. Like, wow.
um, watching the students file into the theater, like the really first scene, the excitement to see great art immediately introduces like the reflexive like meld between theater and cinema and like all that in the beginning there. Um, and I just really like that opening. Every time
Yeah.
I watch it, I appreciate it even more. So yeah.
My next little note is that first of all, the little spat between the two groups of people that we later find out is fuck, what's his name? Fuck, did I not write it down?
Boris, Castor,
Not Boris. Castor.
Victoria,
Castor.
Craster, Craster, and the
Craster.
professor.
No, it was like Craster and like his girlfriend and boyfriend, and then the other two people. Like they were there for the music
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they were there for the ballet. And when they were like
Oh, that
arguing,
yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God, this is so funny. This is so funny." Like they were like going
It's
back and
Iona
forth.
Biglovska performance, so I wouldn't. What's the line?
Well,
So I
from
would
who?
expect it to be top tier or
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
The guy that did it should be or whatever. It's so good. So
That
incredible.
whole like little like I was laughing
So
really hard at that.
theatrical, so
Yeah.
dramatic. And we talked about the Birdcage last episode, but they quote this movie a lot in the Birdcage, and like its theatrical backstage melodramas are very influenced by this.
Yeah.
There's even a line where what's his name? Why am I blanking on our
Which
favorite
one?
actor's name?
Oh,
Why am I blanking?
Nathan Lane?
Where Nathan Lane is like, Victoria Page will not dance the dance. That's in the beginning when he's trying to convince him to go
Oh,
on stage for the
yeah,
drag show.
yeah,
Will not
yeah.
dance the dance of the red shoes tonight. Victoria Page is dead.
Yeah.
So very dramatic. Um, Boris Lermontov is introduced behind a curtain. Um, so I am gonna praise Adolf Wahlberg a lot. I think in this episode, Boris Lemantov is an icon in his own right, I have to say. Horrid person,
Ugh.
but an icon in his own right, in my opinion. Adolf Wahlberg was a child of circus performers, who grew up in Austria, and he
Wow.
moved away in 1937 because he was a Jewish homosexual. So he was
Okay.
persecuted and moved to England. And this
He's
is one of
he's
his
gay?
first, yeah, one of
Wow,
his first
that's cool.
collaborations. And what a performer! I mean, if I had to single out a performance in this movie where it's like wow, where it's like just really impressed, solidly impressed. Obviously, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Moira Scherer, but um he's just amazing and energetic and stylish and horrible. His first line is Boris's first line. If some if some fat Haddon is going to sing, I must see myself out. And then he goes to get a champagne cocktail. Um he's so stylish and impressive. I don't know. He's horrible, but you
Yeah.
know.
He's I totally agree with you. Like his character like just made me so angry, but him as an actor, man, just fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
an
He did a
actor man.
fantastic job.
What was your
Um,
next note?
well, my next note, my next note was like, oh, his music was stolen. What the hell?
Yeah.
Again, that happened within the first 10 minutes, not even, and I was shocked. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like his music was stolen. And then like obviously that was our first little like taste of what Boris is like. But
Hmm.
I thought that was really interesting. I was like, damn, they really stole his whole
Yeah.
piece.
Feels really bad. Feels really shitty.
Mm-hmm.
That scene where he goes to see just the way every scene in here is framed, and the scene that's really the introduction to Boris, except for obviously the scene in the party in the beginning, um is that scene where he's going to retrieve a letter from Boris that he said.
Yeah.
Like any other movie would just have Krasser and Boris know each other, and then Krasser goes in to have this conversation about like, oh, give me advice. But no, they take a step back and add this framing device. He said, like, how they introduce this drama. He sent him an envelope. He's coming together. That's already stakes. That's already conflict. And
Yeah.
then, he's asking advice, and and then he's also technically getting hired in this scene. So much dramatic shit is happening at once. He's coming back from the envelope. He's showing him his new stuff. He's getting advice. He's getting a new job. It's just so impressive how they frame this drama. And the way
Mm-hmm.
they set up the plagiarism drama is so perfect in the beginning and so impressive. How they keep Lermontov behind the curtain in the beginning, how all the students realize the stolen music, all the beautiful musical score of the fictitious Heart of Fire was stolen, and then we see Victoria for the first time on that ballroom scene, not ballroom scene, on that first Heart of Fire scene.
Yeah.
It's just so much dramatic And then obviously you go to the party and this bourgeois like artists like getting together with the champagne cocktails. Why do you want to dance? Why do you want to live? You know? It's just so it's like such a whirlwind of I don't know exactly why, but I must.
Yeah.
That's my
No,
answer too. I mean,
that's
this
why
begins with
like
such a
it was so I think that's okay. That's why I love ballet and like
Mhm.
um I guess orchestral music so much because it's like I feel like those are two art forms where people like really pour their whole heart and soul into it. And I
Yeah.
think that's why I just love it so much. And then you can like what I love about it as well is you can see the results. You can see that by people putting in so much effort and putting in their whole like dedicating their lives to these I guess professions, crafts, whatever. Like
Forms, yeah.
you can see with ballet obviously like you can see it. You can see like all their hard work pay off with the dancing and then with like the music you can obviously hear it but it's like it's just so like it hits so hard. Like
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, "Ugh, I wish I could dance like that. I wish I could play instruments like that." Like, oh my God.
Well, I'll say that this probably connects to us also as people that, come from the theater and like
Yeah.
know how much effort is put into not only, obviously film, but a theater production and a dance and like one choreographed dance, how difficult that is to get people to dance correctly and how you want it.
Oh girl, we've been through that.
Especially, yeah. Um, I was gonna make an Elsa reference, but I won't.
Oh.
The
Oh.
well,
Okay,
just trying to
Elsa.
get people to dance and shit is difficult. Um, and we connect to that on that level. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Um, but yeah, this movie looks stunning. Obviously, we should just get that out of the way. I mean, the Technicolor is wow. The paintings, the tapestry. How did the visuals strike you in the beginning?
Okay. Okay. Obviously, like like just everything. The colors, the production design, everything is so meticulously set up. Like I was just stunned because I was like, what? Like again, I knew this movie had a lot of color and it was beautiful, but you really don't know how beautiful it is until you watch it. And like how were they able to get these shoes to look so red?
Red. Yeah,
So red. Like, oh my, her makeup. Like, oh, look at that.
absolutely.
Just
Um,
everything about it is gorgeous and stunning. And that doesn't even begin to that doesn't even begin to scratch the ballet dancing scene. Oh,
right. We'll get to
we'll
that.
get
We
to
should keep
that.
we should keep that later. Um, the visuals are, obviously everyone always talks about Technicolor cinematography, obviously. But I just wanted to touch on the lighting here. It's
Mm,
so beautiful. The British said, fuck, Hollywood 3-point traditional lighting. Like, who cares? Let's make this theatrical, colorful, shiny, expressive, dazzling, it's I can compare the lighting here more to like the German expressionism
mm-hmm.
um than what you would see in films that Hollywood was making in 1948. The Brits were just just a completely different world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Um
I wish people were more ambitious, I guess, in that sense, because
yeah.
it was probably really expensive. Um, especially for like
Yeah.
back in the day, like lighting, I know
Mhm.
like definitely was not cheap, but I wish they were more ambitious because then now we have these beautiful movies to look back on. And I guess I wish more people back in the day took the risk of like their movies being this well lit
Yeah.
or
I
this
mean, a lot of
colorful.
in the Technicolor era, there was a lot of this kind of color, but it
Yeah.
wasn't used this perfectly, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Except for like you mentioned Wizard of Oz, that kind of Hollywood stuff. But
I did.
still,
Oh yeah, my thing.
this is so yeah, your name. This is so wow. I mean, amongst the most colorful movies I've seen, probably maybe the most. I mean, tied with some Jacques Demy stuff, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's the color is insane, but the lighting. Um, I wrote the real. I wrote stage manager mentioned for you.
Yay!
I don't even remember what. I think it's when Craster comes in for the first time and he's like, "Your name's not on the list. Go talk to the SM."
Yeah. Gotta love a stage manager shout out.
So Victoria Page walks into the ballet for the first time and everyone's ignoring her, as well as Julian Craster. Everyone's ignoring him, and this is the first time you're seeing Boris's power over others, how he can just ignore you. I just felt like I resonated with this because I've had like in the theater world, like people treat me like this just because, it's usually not their fault, but like just walk by you or don't get to your question. Everyone's in theater and when putting on a production is so trying to get everything done. But Boris is very directed. Like
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't actually want to talk to them. So he really puts his power over people in the beginning.
Yeah.
The real icon is Grisha, of course, my king.
Oh my God,
Grisha's an icon.
he was so funny. But like
He's the
he
best.
kind of reminded me of Nathan Lane a little bit. Like the very dramatic sort of acting, but
Yeah.
in a kind of comedic way, you know?
Yeah, he's kind of comedic relief in this movie, if I had to single down someone.
Yeah.
But then when you get to his performance in the Red Shoes, he's kind of terrifying.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
I was
but yeah, we'll
scared.
get to it. We'll get to it. What's your next thing?
Um, my next note. Oh, this is a dig on Bradley Cooper. I basically was just saying, like, after watching this, like, there's no way Bradley Cooper needed fucking 6 years to train to become a fake composer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That
Like,
kind you haven't seen my intro yet, but yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's a good
no,
thing,
no, I haven't seen it. I know, and I'm going to watch
right?
it. But, like, still, there's no 6 years, buddy. 6 years?
She's gonna
Okay.
be on the podcast soon. Don't talk shit about him.
Sorry.
Um,
Well,
Speaking of
Craster
that,
was able to put so much heart and soul into
yeah,
that composing, and I'm just like, okay, that looks great to me. I don't know what
that
Bradley
actor did
Cooper's
not
doing.
spend 6 years to do that,
Yeah.
and his performance is very believable
He
composing.
probably spent
Um,
2 weeks, let's be real.
yeah. Um, well, yeah. Um, the way Boris exercises his power over others in this scene, all too reminiscent of Vincent Cassel as Thomas Leroy in The Black Swan, obviously, in Black
Ah,
Swan.
yes.
Obviously his Black Swan is like very influenced, but I
Mm-hmm.
think you didn't understand like how different they are as well. Like they're not the same movie. It's not like an adaptation
Yeah.
or something. Um, Mr. Reifschneider referenced. I don't know. I probably had a joke.
Mr. R? Oh
Yeah, I probably had
God.
a joke. Um, oh, okay. What's your next note? Because I kind of had a time jump here because I was too
Me
in love
too. I
with
had a
this
time jump.
exposition.
My
Wait,
time
go
my
ahead.
next is the main dance scene.
Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Hold on. Okay,
No,
hold up.
I didn't take a lot of notes because I was just like,
Yeah, no, I get it. Um, well, the first time we see Victoria dancing, we get those iconic panning shots that they did. These
oh yes,
revolutionary panning
yes,
shots, which are just the most impressive thing I've ever seen. I mean, it, it's
yes,
just
yes,
it's so cool. And like she's looking over and she sees Boris, and then he leaves. So like she doesn't know if she liked his
yes.
amazing, and that's like the first time you see her dancing, and then you see these fucking intense close-ups on Moira Sharer's face as we see her dancing for the first time. She's in it, it's her soul, you know.
Yeah.
um
And like the
I
sweat, the beads of sweat like
yeah,
falling down her face, like, oh, it's
obviously
perfect.
it's not as poignant as, you know, but
Yeah.
as the central scene, but it's like still very like introduces it very well. There are many frames of this movie that I would hang on my wall or should be in a museum. um I love the intricacies of Powell and Pressburger and how they introduce Lermontov's character, how they expose his jealousy and pessimistic view on marriage through the other dancer that he fires. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like already like, oh, that's a really awful take, like let your dancers have a love life. And
Yeah.
his view on marriage and the good sides of life spoiling art. He's very like, oh, you need to be depressed to be a good artist, which is an opinion that a lot of people still hold. So
Which, okay, yeah, that was crazy to me. Like, we can get into that later, but we can get
yeah.
into that towards the end, but I have a few thoughts about that, I guess.
um I'm trying to go by these points fast. They get the Red Shoes ballet started up. He's starting on the score. That scene where they're in Monte Carlo. He's describing what the Red Shoes is about. Time rushes by, love rushes by, life rushes by, but the Red Shoes go on. Is just an amazing. This whole sunny sequence in Monte Carlo is magnetic and so summery. Um, he's content now that his star dancer has been shoved out of his company because she chose love. But now Victoria, the new dancer, climbs the steps up to his Monte Carlo home in this stunning dress, unaware of what is coming to her. And enters his abode, his mind, and his expectations are slowly being built. And there, in that same home, is where she meets Julian Craster for the first time. Again,
Yes.
so dramatically dense.
Yeah.
Like she on her way to Boris, she's meeting Julian Craster, and like it's so like this movie has a pretty long runtime, but think like I feel like directors nowadays would probably take this story and then like do it in like a 4-hour movie. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because it's so dense and it's so fast paced.
I do want to say, I called it from literally the first 0.2 seconds they met. I was like, they're gonna fall in love. They're gonna
Yeah,
fall
yeah.
in love. We all know. We all know that something's gonna happen between the two of
Yeah.
them. And yeah, it did.
Well, it's also kind of because of their performances, how they look at each other, how these actors look at each other, and in the first scene, and then they have that scene in the Monte Carlo home at night, and Julian whistles, and a newspaper flies on the floor, and the haunting new score for the Red Shoes begins to play.
Mm-hmm.
We're ramping up for the sequence.
Oh yeah.
And then they start rehearsals, and there's little things where Boris doesn't allow Victoria to drink a cup of water during her break. The music is all that matters, nothing but the music. And then
Abusive.
yeah, and then Craster comes in, and he's like playing during her lunchtime, and this is like torture at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's setting up all his expectations for her. My music will transform you into a flower drifting in the wind. You will see ballet. You will see the ballroom while you're performing. Um, and you know, you get the sorry, I'm so emotional
No,
about
no, no.
this.
I love it. I love it.
These seeds of these characters. Well, and it's all ramping up to the central scene, which is the scene that everyone talks about concerning this
Yeah.
movie. How are you feeling during the Red Shoes?
Okay, let me see what I wrote. Okay, first of all, like my heart, just right off the bat, my heart was beating so fast. Like I was like nervous, like because again, like I didn't know what was gonna happen. So my like body and my brain were like preparing for the worst almost, but like I was like nervous. I was like, holy shit, like we've been
Yeah.
building up to this. This is like we're here. We're finally here. We're gonna see the performance. And so I was like nervous, but holy shit. Oh my god. Okay. There is so much. First of all, okay. I my thoughts are like so all over the place.
Hmm.
Um, I basically like was saying how it feels okay. It feels like we're at the ballet, but then at the same time, like it's like it feels like you're at the ballet, but then it switches up on you, and then it feels like you're like watching a movie, but then it switches up on you, and it feels like you're like watching like a musical, like
Yeah.
and I was like whole like I was just like stunned. I was just sitting there with my mouth was like open. I was like when they were
Yeah.
editing her, like, okay, up until the point before they were editing her, it's like, wow, like I am at the ballet right now. Like I
Yeah.
am sitting down and like I can hear the orchestra below me in the pit. Like I am watching, and then they did that editing trick where they like had her in the shoes and
Yeah.
she was like watching herself dance, and I was like, "Wait, what the fuck? Now I'm not at the ballet anymore. Like now I'm at the movies and I'm like actually watching a movie right now." And like and I think that's what makes it so cool though, that it's able to like switch off like that, because then it's like you're moving with her, and obviously in ballet like you're all in one spot, the your background isn't changing, isn't moving, but
Mhm.
we're like moving with her, and she's like going through all these different like um what's it called
Sets.
sets. Thank you, sets. And like she's dancing through all these different sets, and we're following her, and like I was just like, wow, 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 wow.
Yeah. It's 17 minutes long. I remember the second time I watched this movie which was in a theater. I don't think I've ever had a sequence hit me so hard. And just looking up with my mouth open,
Yeah.
like seeing this in theater was insane. And there's so much build up to the scene. We see every single meticulous thing that goes into this production, down to picking what shoe, as you can
Yeah.
see behind you, the set design. And there's so much building up to this, so many prophecies, so many there's a bet between Boris and the set designer, and if the audience will clap halfway through, and the
Mhm.
expectations that are on Victoria to to be like a flower, like a bird, like a cloud during her music, and also have visions of the ballroom, and also have emotion and be on time. And there's so much stress, and so many people are talking to each other. There's like 10 minutes of build up backstage, and then it hits, and every prophecy comes true. The
Mhm.
audience claps halfway through. There is a filming of her in a ballroom, which was technically cut, but the music is still there, and she is in it. She's in the ballroom, and then suddenly she literally becomes a flower and a cloud and a bird. I don't know if you caught that. Oh, but oh God, like what a scene! I mean, like you said, you start with like one thing, and then it just starts tripping you out, and then it
Mhm.
starts switching the the people in real life to the characters, and she just starts going deeper into the set. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like the audience can't even see her anymore. We're seeing this like
Mhm.
intimate moment and look into deep into her psyche as she goes through hallways full of extras, and floating newspapers, and
Yeah, oh
and the
my
loves of
god.
her life confusing her, and this like conflict between love and passion for art and like life and dance. It's just all in this 17-minute like
Mhm.
green screen bonanza.
Like, we can just see
That's
sorry, I was gonna say, we can really see her, like, going deeper and deeper and deeper, obviously, through this whole, like, segment. Like,
yeah.
she is like, we are watching her, like, go really deep into, like, ballet now. Like, she is in it. Like, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard to, like it's gonna be hard to pull her out unless she falls in love.
Right. And this scene is so majestical for us too that we start feeling sad when she starts like quitting dancing in the
Mhm.
second half of in the last act of the film, because it's like I want to go back to that beauty. I want to go back to my mouth being open and jaw to the
Yeah.
floor, like
You
this
we
beauty of
wanna
dancing, this thrill, this dopamine.
you wanna relive that glamour. But then you
Yeah.
realize that like this life really isn't glamorous at all. And
Mm-mm.
like from the audience's perspective, like yeah, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's stunning. Like she's a fabulous dancer, the choreography, everything. Like when it comes together, it's like a grand performance. But then like, you see that wow, behind the scenes, it's really toxic and these men are really evil and they're so awful for her and they're ruining like her love for dance. And so it's like sad because like we're straying farther and farther away and we want her to go back to like dance because that's like what when it was really glamorous, but at the same time in a way, at least for me, I was kind of like happy, like
Yeah.
almost like, well, yeah, she doesn't deserve to go through that. She doesn't deserve to be belittled and like
Yeah.
be denied access to freaking water. Like what?
Yeah. And that scene just condenses everything. I mean, all of the emotions, all the sadness, the thrill, the grief and the art and the life that goes into just performing and making art and being an artist.
Yeah.
And then we start with the second half, the love starts being established, or like revealed, because we know it's been there ever since Monte Carlo, really. Um, and you have that scene of what's his name's birthday party with the big champagne glass.
Boris.
Um, yeah, no, it's not Boris's
It's
birthday.
not Boris's birthday? I thought it was.
No, it's the guy's birthday. Come on. It's the Grisha's birthday.
Oh, okay, okay.
And they're all celebrating, and then Boris comes in and finds out, and he's like,
Mm,
charming.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
It's so dramatic, so amazing. And then this love triangle kind of begins. Love triangle, I don't know if that's a good word for it. More like
Mm,
obsession and love
yeah.
and that.
Um,
Um,
I do want
the
to
the scene
say
of yeah,
I have a little something to say about their romance. I think
yeah,
obviously like besides the fact that like okay, you could tell from when they first met that something was going to blossom between them. I think if you put that aside and you just focus on like the fact that like she's dancing to his music, I think it would probably be really hard for her not to fall in love with him because it's like she's made this ballet her whole life. She's been working so hard to get to this point. And, like they're debuting the Red Shoes, like this is what she's been working towards, what he's been working towards. So of course he's gonna fall in love with her because he is dancing or sorry, she is dancing to his music and he is like
yeah.
seeing like a visual representation of what he's been imagining his music's gonna look like on stage. And for her, it's the
And
same thing, just flipped. She's
yeah,
dancing to his music. Like she's feeling it in her soul. Like of course she's gonna fall in love with the man who wrote that. Like it
and
makes so much sense.
everything he told her to feel, feels. She feels like she's in that ballroom. Like I said, she feels like a
Yeah.
cloud. She feels like a bird. Um, she's in his mind and he's in hers, and she has to, because he really held on to her for a minute there. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome. He
Yeah.
he, he captured her, so she must love him now. Does she? Does she really love him, or is she naive and young and in love with his music? There is
Yeah.
some romance there, but also there's this aspect of, and there's all these power dynamics between Boris and Craster, and how Craster has power over Victoria and so does Boris. And
Mm-hmm.
really, Victoria is the bottom of the food chain here, which is the most devastating part.
Yeah. Guys, Yoav is so freaking he gets so philosophical and deep. I love it. I love it so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Um, I have to okay, see, I have a problem because like whenever I like really like get zoned in, I forget to write stuff down.
It's
Um,
okay.
but my next note was just like, after like the bedazzling um Red Shoes is over, you know, she's booking everything. She's in
Yeah.
every single ballet. She's the principal dancer in every single ballet. Um but then, you know, that's when you were saying how like, okay, her love with Craster is playing out now. So we're really, I guess, kind of seeing her love aspect come into play and like how it's starting to affect um everybody almost.
Yeah.
Um
So
and
so kind of sad. So
yeah,
kind of sad and and disappointing in a way. It kind of puts you in Boris's shoes in to a certain respect, you know what I mean?
kind of, yeah.
Um And then, you get the scene of Romeo Crasser and Juliet Page, in the carriage.
Mhm.
It's so sweet and romantic, don't you think? And it's
It
so funny.
is.
There's this part where she's calling the horseman or whatever,
Mhm.
whatever she called. She's like, "Ko," so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then he pulls her back. So romantic and
He was
cute.
like,
And
"Don't wake him up." I was like, "What if you fall up the side of the mountain and die?"
well, the tapestry from the shot outside that carriage is one of my favorite like paintings in the movie
Yeah.
in terms of painting backgrounds. Um, and then you got the scene of Boris on the train, and she's trying to convince him not to kick Craster out, and Boris wears his sunglasses.
I want to say my note here is Yoav's old letterbox profile pic jump scare. Because I remember when that was your profile picture for a very quite a while on Letterbox, and
Long
so
time, long time.
I saw that and I was like, "Oh, we got a little shout out. We got a little shout out right there."
I love his sunglasses. I want to get a pair like that. Exactly. He's so stylish in general. He's my fave. Um,
He is
but yeah,
stylish.
she's trying to convince him to keep Craster on the team after they have this like falling out, and it's so dramatic and sad. And there's a scene where Victoria, I didn't write this down, but Victoria and Craster are like sitting in this cafe in Monte Carlo, like they look defeated. They both kind
Mm-hmm.
of been effectively fired. And then a woman passes them and says, "Isn't love great?" And they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And they're just sad. They're like,
so
"Okay."
and that scene, just everything. I don't want to skip too far ahead if you have too many notes, but
No, I don't. You
um
keep going.
my next thing is that probably my second favorite scene in the movie, obviously after the
Yeah.
central dance sequence, is this scene of Boris and his breakdown when he shatters the glass
Mm.
in his room, and he shouts at himself, "Fool, fool, fool."
Yeah.
It's so dramatic. It's so excellently acted in like the most melodramatic way possible, and so interesting. And he's such a like a disgusting character, but you also kind of feel for him, and he breaks the glass. And I'm just such a sucker for shots and like glasses and stuff. Um, and it's just amazingly shot, and the lighting and it's just everything. And he's smoking a cigarette, and the smoke. It's what, and then there's that scene where he's talking to Grisha later,
Yeah.
when Grisha is like dancing alone, and there's a spotlight, and the spotlight is like even when Grisha's not even dancing anymore, the spotlight man is still following him around while he's having a conversation with Boris, who's smoking a cigarette, and you see the cigarette smoke in the spotlight, and like this whole like segment
Mm-hmm.
um is showing Boris and his contemplations, and Grisha quits for a minute, but he goes back in like a second. But
Yeah.
this whole point of the movie where Boris is contemplating is just fantastic. And then you see Craster contemplating life with
Mm-hmm.
Victoria in the same room as they sleep in separate beds. They're sleeping in separate beds because they can't even feel connected or slash make love or slash whatever or physically sleep together because there's this shadow of Boris and their expectations towards life and dance and art and all that. And and Victoria's asleep, and Craster can't sleep because he's hearing this intense opera music in his head. That's the musical score, and I
Yeah.
think it's diegetic. You can hear it, and he gets out of bed and starts playing this haunting piano piece for his new opera. And then he wakes Victoria up, and she sits next to him and lays her head on his shoulder. And it's just such a interesting piece of interesting scene,
It's
with the nighttime lighting and stuff.
it's so sad though, because then you're also like, well, with Boris's reaction, like he's almost the way he reacted to, I guess, them being together and then them being fired, like, is ruining their passion and love for their, like,
For each other
for
and for dance.
not for each other, well, for each other, yeah, but also for
Yeah.
their, like, art field, whatever, like, like it's starting to wear down on them, and they're seeing it more of almost like a chore than a passion, you know? And that's really sad. And like that's always like a really depressing thing to happen. Like you never want that to happen to your passions, obviously. So like
Mhm.
seeing Boris do that to them is like, damn,
This
buddy.
covers a very interesting thing con about being an artist, is when art is your profession, how difficult it is to live with that.
Yeah.
How difficult it is to obtain that, which is one part of this movie, but later how difficult it is to live with that and balance that in your life. And when it starts feeling like work and like a chore, and when other people are shitty and influence that feeling, it's not really talked about. And this movie really covers a lot of those aspects. Very, it's very detailed about all those aspects of working in an art field. And
Mm-hmm.
it just covers all those feelings that an artist feels. That was my last note, and then the ending happens, and I didn't write anything because I know you probably wrote something about
Yeah, my
what's going
last
on.
note was just like about the ending and just like having to choose between like the two loves of her life and then like dying is like the most fucking depressing thing, but at the same time, it's kind of freeing in a way because it's like in the end she doesn't have to choose. Like
Yeah.
her death is obviously like really fucking tragic and sad, and like the way she died was like Jesus Christ, that's awful. But she's now free. She's free of all
Yeah.
the burdens, like she's free of all the toxicity of like I guess in a way it's like good for her. I don't know.
Yeah. And the red shoes lead her to kill herself.
Mm-hmm.
And we get these shots of the shoes as she's walking to her place of death. And then
Yeah.
she jumps off, trying to reach her love. But um,
I do want to say one more thing. I
yeah.
think them putting on the show without her is one of the most selfish and disgusting
Hmm.
things ever,
Yeah.
because and to me like that I was like disgusted by that because I'm
Yeah.
just like she is your star performer, and instead of shutting down the show and saying, yeah, let's maybe take some nights off. No, you're gonna continue the show and you're gonna shine a spotlight on nothing where she's supposed to be dancing. Are you kidding me?
It's like they're siding with the red shoes.
Yeah.
The red shoes like lead her to kill herself, and then she finally gets rid of them and Cressler takes it off as she of her limp body,
Mm-hmm.
and then they continue, and they continue the show. They're siding with the red shoes and this and the thing that drives people to art
Yep.
till they die,
Just
and
I
they're
was
siding with
like,
that.
just
It's pretty
no.
bad.
And it's
Yeah.
also like in a way it's kind of like profit over people, you
Yeah.
know? Like I was so wow, like
This deals with such heavy things and so many. It criticizes the art world and also uh brings positive attention to it and just everything. And this ending is a pretty pessimistic to one, but like you said, it's bittersweet. There's a
yeah.
sort of freeing thing to it. And it's just so incredibly ahead of its time in its exploration of
Mm-hmm.
art and all that. And this ending is so sad and devastating. I'd like to shout out, I follow this guy named Dylan Sular. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name on
Mhm.
Letterboxd. It's his like one of his favorites on his top 4.
Yeah.
This is what he wrote: a fantastic folk tale come to operatic romanticism, come to balletic melodrama, come to cinematic wonder. Translations upon translations ends us at a point where few, if any, movies can reach pure and unadulterated catharsis and emotion. It's so gorgeous and terrifying to behold, the likes of which art can't really compare at almost any other level. The death that made Jesus weep, the awestruck finality that made Alexander weep, the time and power that strewn Ozymandias in beds of sand lost to time are all somehow present in
Oh
this one
wow.
film.
Holy shit.
It's just storytelling in 2 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's like, if you're watching this podcast, great review,
Shout out to
Dylan.
him. That is an awesome review. Wow.
Yeah. Do you have any other notes? It's
I
a very difficult ending. It's
I
very
don't
difficult.
have any other notes. That
Um, do,
that was my last note.
do you want to get to ratings?
Hell yeah, let's get to ratings.
Who
I
would you
know
like
your
to start?
rating.
Yeah.
I know Yoav's rating.
But I'm at a 5 out of 5 for this. My review says, and the prophecies come true. She sees a ballroom, she is a bird, she is a flower, she is a cloud. Every time I watch this, I think maybe it won't happen, maybe she won't jump this time. But a cloud cannot die. Time passes, love passes, life passes, but the red shoes continue on.
Wow.
That was my review.
Yoav's a
Five out of
freaking
five.
poet. Yoav's a poet.
5 out of 5. What's your rating, Meli?
My rating is a whopping 4.5 out of 5.
Ah, expected.
Yup.
Why? What's with the 0.5? I get it.
Um,
Okay,
I
it's
just
okay.
think honestly, like, I don't know. Okay, it's not like there's anything wrong with the movie. Like, there's nothing in the movie
Uh-huh.
where I was like, yeah, ew, bad, gross. I don't like that. No. I just think in order for a movie to be 5, I have to like feel it in my gut. Like, I have to
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
I get that.
it didn't hit the mark. It didn't hit it like, you know what I mean? Like, didn't
It might on a rewatch maybe.
it might on
It's
a
just
rewatch,
so
yeah.
I get it because it's so grand and it's so much and it's
Yeah.
so dense in terms of its melodrama and exploration of characters. Once you kind of know how this tragic arc plays out, you get to divulge more into what this movie's trying to say
I
about art and
think
stuff.
I think that's why. I think because I
Yeah,
didn't know where the movie was gonna go, like I did not know what was gonna happen at any point, that I was more caught up on what is going to happen. So I
yeah.
think what you're saying is definitely true.
It's a very dense piece, but I'm really happy you liked it
No, I'm
enough to give it
so
a
glad
4
I
out of
watched it. Like
4.5 because it's really genius.
it-
It's just a
after all
really
this
good.
time, man, been
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch it. And I'm so glad that we
It's
have.
how's the quality on HBO Max? Did you watch
It's
it on
great.
HBO?
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
watch it on HBO.
Okay.
Awesome quality. They from Criterion, obviously. So it was
Yeah,
great.
I wonder if that's the 4K UHD remaster or if it's the Blu-ray one that I watched just
It
now.
might
Because their
be
Blu-ray looks
Blu-ray.
fantastic.
It
Interest.
might be
I
Blu-ray.
don't know. I watched the 4K restoration when I was in theaters and it
Nice.
was wow, their 4K restoration is stunning, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
upgrade. That's just like what I'm not gonna rebuy that. But yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
excited to see what Meli's pick is.
Okay. Let's get to picking.
Wow,
Wait.
wow, wow. I
Okay,
wonder,
guys.
Meli, did you choose the bad one or the nicer one?
No. I chose the nicer one. Don't worry.
Okay. Because Meli was like, should I be should I do something really dark or really fucked up or really okay? So I wondered.
Nope. Don't you worry. All
Meli's
right.
pickers.
So my pick of the week, I do want to say, Yoav, you have seen this movie. I have not seen this movie.
Oh, we
So
haven't done this kind
we
of thing
haven't
before.
done this yet. We haven't done
Okay.
this yet. But I've been wanting to watch this movie for so long, and I was like, you know what? We're doing it. We're doing it. Um, I don't care. We're picking this movie. I don't know what Yoav's reaction is gonna be, but
Is it something I liked?
is it? Let me see.
Whatever, we'll check later. I want to
Okay.
know what this is.
Okay. So my pick, okay. My pick is from the 1960s.
Fun.
So yeah, it is the 1967 movie directed by Mike Nichols, The
The
Graduate.
Graduate. Yes.
Yay!
Woo!
Guys,
Oh, this one's so good.
I've been wanting to see this for so long, and I know I was hesitating because Yoav has seen it, but I was like, no, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Oh, I'm so down to rewatch this.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Oh wow. The Graduate. You're gonna love this, I think.
I have the
I'm so
poster.
excited. What? You do?
Yeah, should I show everybody?
Yeah,
Oh my god, how am I gonna do this?
please do. How do you have a graduate poster?
I
What
stole
a
it.
oh.
Guys, I'm really doing this right now.
What do you mean you stole it?
I stole it from the Marty Awards.
Hello Kitty.
Do you guys see this?
Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, from the Marty. Now I remember. Yeah, sick movie.
Yeah.
This is our second Mike Nichols movie.
Oh, it is. What was our first one again?
The Birdcage.
The Birdcage. Oh, my
Well,
microphone.
look at that.
There we go.
Well, then I'm really excited for this one to rewatch this and for you to experience this crazy movie for the first time.
Yay! And I love the music to this. I've listened to the music, so
Yeah, I own it on vinyl. I own it on vinyl.
look at you.
Okay, then stick around, guys, for next week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and
Yeah,
thank you,
thanks,
Meli, for
guys.
enjoying the red shoes.
And thank you,
Um,
Yoav, for showing it to me.
continue living, continue blending love and art in a healthy way.
Yep.
And watch this, not Darren Aronofsky's Black Swan, because why do you need that much disgusting content when you could just watch the red shoes?
I will say the Black Swan isn't bad.
It's not bad, no. Black Swan covers kind of different things
It's
about
different.
like
It's different.
the female experience in the art world and all that, but I have my preferences.
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah,
Obviously.
thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next week with The Graduate.
Yep. Watch it. Stay tuned. We'll be back. All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.